Hello and welcome back to my hobby bench. My name is Ken, and today I'm going to continue working on the Tamiya 1/48 scale M1A2 Abrams. When we last left off, we had finished assembling our tracks and painting them. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the lower hull. So I'll be right back with some of those parts. So in step 5 here, we're going to be working on the rear panel and attaching all these little points here. So let's get these parts out, and we'll get them all laid out here, and I'll show you how they go together. So here we have the rear panel of our vehicle, and we have our little parts here. We have like a hitch, which goes in the bottom here, like that. I'll take a little bit of our glue. Just like that. There we go. Little hitch. And we have these other brackets or pieces or whatever they are. So B47 here is going to go on this side. And it's just got a little piece sticking out here that's going to go into a little hole in the side, just like that. Again, just a little bit of our extra thin. And we have our next piece, which goes in this little hole right here. And just going to check my instructions. Looks like it goes that way. Okay. So, almost need my tweezers here. Got the extra big fingers going on. There we go. Got it down into place. Comes up flush to the edge here, and that's what the instructions are calling for. So again, we'll take a little extra thin glue and glue it into place. Straighten that back out again. There we go. Just like that. And again, it'll be the same thing on the other side. So here we are with all our parts on. The instructions at this point remind you that the tail lights need to be painted red. That's something I'm going to tackle once the painting of the main color has been completed on the vehicle. So what we're going to do is attach this rear panel to the back of our tank here. It's going to fit in just like that. So there we go. Put it in place and just put a little of our extra thin in there. There we go. Just like that. There we go. Now after this, we're going to move on to stage 6, which will cover the top of the hull. Step 6 here has us take the upper part of the hull, and then we're going to be attaching the lights and the top of the view ports for the driver and the brackets to protect the lights. They also mentioned adding decals, but again at this time that's not something we're going to do before we begin painting. And here it shows the lights here for the front of the vehicle, and again that's not something I'm going to be painting until after the rest of the vehicle's been painted. So let's get the parts and get them on there. Here we have all our parts cut out. You can see we have our cover, or our protective cover for our driver's view ports. We'll put that in place and glue that in. A little bit too much glue. There we go. And again, capillary action, just we'll suck that glue right into place. And then each of the lights, both of them will face the same way. It's just a standard piece of NATO equipment. So a lot of, I know Canadian vehicles have the same, or had at one time the same style of the light there. So it could be replaced easily out of a NATO catalog of parts. And then we have this little, I don't know if this is a lift point or what the case is with it, but we have these little parts here, which will go right in there. Take some of our Tamiya extra thin. Oh, knocking it out of place. I'll get my tweezers and I'll fix that right up. There we go. Sorry if I'm off camera there. There we go. Just like that. Then we have this top bracket here, which will help protect the light from damage. I'm just going to see if that's... Anyway, I'm going to put a little glue in its spot. I'm going to put the piece in place, and it will also at the same time sit on this bracket over here that we had put in previously. And I'll just glue that into place. There we go. And I'll do the same for the other side, and then we'll come back. So our next step, step 7, wants us to attach our side skirts onto the vehicle so that we could have them in place. However, I'm not going to do that at this time because, as I had mentioned before, I want to be able to get into the bottom of the tank and paint that on the lower hull and then attach my tracks afterwards. Then I can attach my side skirts. One point I've noticed on the side skirts themselves, when you're cleaning off the sprue attachment points, this little extra bit of sprue here, what you got to note is on the just this one point here on the rear, it actually comes in here and attaches in between these two raised points. So what we want to do is we make sure we remove this extra sprue attachment point, that we get rid of this little extra bit of material here in between these two raised points here. That way it'll assist in making sure that the side skirt fits properly on the vehicle. So I'm going to clean this up and then I'll meet you back here and we'll go on to our next step, step 8. Alright, before we move on to step 8, attaching the upper and lower hull, I just want to make a note as well that the actually front sprue attachment point as well actually had a little extra piece of plastic coming up on the raised area here as well that I had to sand down. So just a little bit of note that that'll also be in the way. So what I'm going to do now is, without the side skirts, I'm going to attach our lower part of our hull and our upper part of our hull. Oh, it looks like I still have a sprue attachment point here. So I will clean that off before I try to attach it. Just give it a quick little sand and no real pressure, just the back and forth motion will take that off. Alright, now we should be able to fit this into place and check our, see how it fits. Oh, I pushed that down too far. There we go. Front attaches nicely as well. So I think we are good to go ahead and use our glue. So I'll get this all glued up and I'll be right back. Alright, so this is where stage 8 has brought us to. If you were attaching the parts as the directions had indicated, you would actually have the completed hull with the road wheels and the tracks on it. And I think it would actually look pretty nice if you were just going to go with that and basic hand brushing. I think you would be fine. I know some people do put all the parts on and then airbrush. My style is a little different. But here we go. We have all our parts. And now we can move on to stage 9. And stage 9 is now where we start working on our turret. This is what's kind of getting to be towards the end of the build. And things will be moving a little quicker. But for today, I'm going to leave it here. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. My apologies. But in the next episode, when we come back, we'll begin on our turret. And I want to say thank you for joining me on this journey. I know you didn't have to be here, but I do appreciate it. So you take care, and we'll see you next time.